Only Make Believe is a nonprofit organization that performs interactive theater for children in hospitals and children in care units. Their feeling is that if you spark a child's imagination, it will help with the healing process. They try to bring joy and inspiration to these chronically ill children. And a lady by the name of Dina Hammerstein started in 1999, and it's makeup and it's art, dress up, and make believe, and it started in one hospital. They have performed for over 55,000 children, and will be in 50 different hospitals in the Washington D.C. and New York area this year.
Thank you, Joe. Ryan.
Joe, to get that win in the final game of the road trip, make it a winning road trip, and end the no series win streak at the end of your longest road trip of the season, how much better do you feel as you begin this homestand as a team?
Well, I mean, you feel better because I thought we played better and we had a chance to win, almost every game on that road trip. I thought we pitched better, which I think is really important. I thought our bullpen did a tremendous job for the most part on the road trip, and you just saw little signs as the trip went on that I thought we were playing better. And this is important homestand. We got a chance be home for a while after being on a long road trip, and we need to take advantage of it.
With Robertson, how is he different now? I mean, I know you've seen him up close now for 3 appearances here, but since he was last year, what's different about him and his repertoire and his pitch selection?
I think he's just more experienced. He'll use his changeup a little bit more. It looks like he has 2 different breaking balls in a sense now. I just think he's matured. He's always had really good stuff and has always been a strikeout guy, and we've continued to see that. So, and he's willing to do anything.
Do you take a moment to kind of observe a guy like Todd Frazier today when he's coming back home to play in front of family and friends after growing up here?
Yeah, I mean, he's been here, and a lot of times you can actually hear the people cheering for him in the stands when he's here. And Tommy's really from here, too, candidly. He's from the Albany area, I believe, so for him it's kind of coming home. So for both of them, it's nice.
Who else? Dan, to your left.
We just talked to Hicks and to Greg, and they both seemed optimistic about where they are. Did you get a chance to chat with them and maybe be encouraged by both of their statuses? Yeah,
when you kind of look at our infirmary when you walk into the training room. You got 4 tables filled up with some guys with some pretty decent injuries, but Birdie, we're encouraged by where he's at. Hicks and Tyler Austin have hit off the tee, and will start to take some swings probably in the cage, a little bit more than just tee and toss. Tyler Austin was on the field running today. So I'm encouraged with where they're at. I mean, Tyler and Hicks are probably about the same spot. When we'll get them back, I don't know exactly when, but they're progressing well. And Bird's in a good place, too.
Barry.
Joe, what does Todd Frazier give you, and what do you like about him?
Well, I think it's a power bat. It's a guy that's used to hitting in the middle of the order, has been very productive in his career, plays a good third base. So, I mean, he brings a lot of energy, too, which is great when you listen to him. And he's fit right in the clubhouse, which is always great. And seems like he's having a lot of fun being back here.
Jared, and then if you could pass it behind you.
You've seen in recent years the success other teams have had with these deep bullpens in the playoffs. So I'm wondering, as you move deeper into the pennant race or even in the playoffs, if you get there, how aggressive can you see yourself really being in terms of deploying all these weapons you have now?
Well, I think you can be fairly aggressive. I don't think a deep bullpen has I can go back to 1996, has really been something that the Yankees haven't had. I mean, we used to bring Mo in the 5th, let him go the 5th, 6th, and 7th, or 6th, 7th, and 8th, in that first year. And we've always had a deep bullpen. So I think you can be aggressive. And the reason in the playoffs you can be more aggressive because you get days off. Where, you get, 13 in a row again here. You can be fairly aggressive, but you also have to be smart about it because there's going to be days you don't have people. And then you got to manipulate it a little bit different. But, we went to the bullpen, in the 4th inning the other day, to win that game. So a lot of days I can be pretty aggressive.
Dave.
Just Joe, kind of off that same question. I know Chapman is a guy that you're probably going to leave in the closer spot, but is the two new guys, and along with Betances, I mean, are you going to be flexible, and those guys can be used in kind of wherever inning or whatever type of jam you might be in, or how do you kind of go into that?
Some of it is going to depend on usage. I've kind of flip-flopped Robbie and Dellin already, and the reason I did it was on Sunday I felt like if I got Robbie up, I had to get him in. And I felt that I had more than 3 outs from Dellin, but not from Robbie. So that was why Dellin, I had him up earlier. He pitched the 7th, and then Robbie pitched the 8th, because I thought I might have to bring Dellin in the 6th, and I did not. So those parts are kind of interchangeable in that. Tommy will, on a lot of nights, will be before those guys. Greeny and Warren, I feel like I can use anywhere, and then you have long relief.
Sweeney.
Two things. Green bounced back okay for you with the back-to-back. Do you like the way he responded?
Yeah, I mean, I thought his stuff was really good on Sunday. I will stay away from him tonight if all possible. I think he's a guy that could use another day.
And do you know where you're going with the 5th spot? Is it between Sessa and Smith?
Right now, our plans are Smith.
Wally.
So back to the bullpen a second. All right, so you consider Robertson and Betances interchangeable at times. If you continue to see shakiness from Chapman, at some point, would you consider him perhaps interchangeable with Robertson?
Well, I feel like I could use Dave anywhere. I mean, that's the bottom line. I don't think we're going to see that. You know, I have a lot of belief in Chappie, and he's going to get things right. And, you know, I know he gave up the base hit on Sunday, and then, you know, he kind of shut the door after that. But, I mean, all these guys are fairly interchangeable. They're really talented.
Jared or Brian, go ahead. Jared, did you have a question?
Joe, 2 things. Castro, how severe is this? How significant?
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be.
I mean, he's out at least 10 days. We know that. We'll have a lot better idea where he's at after probably 5 or 6 days, and I don't know if I'll have an exact timetable for you. It's frustrating for us. It's frustrating for him, but we don't really have a timetable. You know, hopefully it's not too long.
And then the other question is, how do you see Ellsbury's role right now? What is he doing?
Oh, there's going to be days that he's going to start. You know, I told him I'll let him know and prepare him for those days. I can use him off the bench to pinch run, do a lot of different things. But right now, I mean, he's kind of in that role of the 4th outfielder, but he's going to play.
Jared.
So, sorry to go back to the bullpen for a sec. Given what you were saying before, when you look at the roster as it's constructed now, is there a part of you that almost feels like you're constructed even better for the playoffs than even a regular season format? This team's particularly designed for that sort of format.
Well, I think in a sense it's constructed pretty well for both, and here's why. You know, in a sense you have 4 one-inning guys. Maybe some of them give you 4 or 5 outs. But you have 2 guys there, you know, in Warren and Green, they can give you multiple innings. And they're probably both around 45, 50 pitches now. So, I mean, you can almost say maybe up to 3 innings in a sense, almost. And then you have long relief. So I think you're created for a lot of different options there. So I kind of really like how it's built for the now and the long haul. And you know, they perform very well, and all the parts are somewhat interchangeable. That's the other thing. And there's a lot of strikeouts down there.
Wally.
Joe, now I want to go back to Ellsbury for a second. He's obviously a guy that was signed to come here and be the everyday center fielder. Did you find it necessary to have a conversation with him about his role, or was it pretty much self-evident?
No, you know, I talk to the players. Exactly what I say. I mean, that's between us. But I told him what he needed to be prepared for and what our expectations of were him. And, you know, players don't like it. That's the bottom line. But it was a decision I had to make, and we made it.
Clapp, did you have a question? Clapp and Sweeney.
Joe, on Chapman, why do you think he has been less than he has been in the past? Do you think he's still suffering the after effects even now from last year's World Series?
You know, that's always hard to say. You know, I sense that it's been, you know, for me, when I look at the outings that he struggles, it's usually fastball command. What does it have to do with? Does it have something to do with him missing a month? Does it have something to do with, you know, then he came back and they didn't pitch a lot, and then we had the All-Star break? Does it have something to do with last year? You know, I wish I knew, because maybe you feel like you could solve it quicker if you hadn't exactly knew. But it really comes down to fastball command. And when that improves, I think you'll see a lot easier innings.
Well, are you expecting the old Chapman to come back, or
Yes.
is that an unrealistic expectation?
No, I don't think it's unrealistic. No, I expect him to be back.
If you don't get another lefty, are you comfortable? You got a lot of righties that have good splits against lefties.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. You know, to have that lefty is nice, but in today's world, you almost want a left-hander or some of your other guys to give you multiple innings, just because it seems with the distances starters go, that lefty for one lefty, those guys aren't around as much anymore. So because our righties do such a good job, it's not a huge concern for us.
Dan.
With Robertson and Chapman, is using Robertson as a closer, is that only if Chapman wasn't available because of usage, or is there a scenario where you might use him?
No, Chappie's our closer.
Okay. And with Ellsbury, you've had the conversation with him, but is it, I guess, sustainable to have a guy with that pedigree and that salary as a fourth outfielder who only starts occasionally?
Well, as you tell a player, nothing's ever permanent in this game. I mean, I guess if you retire, you're permanently not playing anymore. But I mean, you have he's going to get the opportunities to play. So this game's based on performance. This is a league that's based on performance, and especially when you start to get to the second half, the last 60 games of the year, it's based on performance.